So, did you guys know about that soccer is the most popular sport in the world? Like, just to put it in statistics, around 3.2 billion people watched the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, compared to 111 million people who watched the Super Bowl in 2017. Like, I'm gonna talk about soccer because it has been very influential in my life since I was a kid, and it has always held a special place in my heart, I guess. And then, like, for my artifact, I brought a soccer ball because it basically explains this sport as a whole, and then I'm gonna use it as reference whenever I'm talking about it. So I'm gonna start off with the history of soccer. So around 2500 BC, people were first seen playing soccer, like in Greece, China, and Rome. After like seeing in like Greece, China, and Rome, the sport was also featured in England, where it's like considered the home. After like it was already developing as a sport, in around 1843, for example, the University of Cambridge, they came up with these rules like that codified and standardized like the rules of the sport, and eventually it spread all over the world, and where all the other nations came up also with their own national teams so they could play against each other. It wasn't until 1930 that the first World Cup was ever featured, and it was in Uruguay, where they. So why does soccer stand out from all the other sports? For me, because soccer, it places it's more concentrated with playing with your feet than any other sport. For example, in soccer, the only person that uses their hands is the goalie, and besides him, you gotta play with your feet all the time, and so it requires a lot of concentration. I prefer soccer besides the other sports because for soccer, height is irrelevant. Like, there's short people, there's tall people, and also after when the sport was featured in England, they used a pig bladder around, and they kicked it around and used it as a soccer ball. So yeah. Also, a little bit more about the soccer ball itself is like the pagan costumes. For them, the ball symbolized the sun, and this meant that whoever conquered the ball, or like the ball, it was basically conquering the sun. And also, I learned that if I wanted to be better, I had to outwork all my teammates or everyone else that was working with me. So I had to work extra hard. And I also learned that beneficial for the community, because if kids, for example, start playing soccer, sports in general, when they're kids, it keeps them away from doing other stuff like drugs or alcohol or whatever. So it worked for me, so I guess it can also work for other kids in the community. It can also make kids more responsible as they're growing up, because whenever you gotta attend practices and everything, you gotta be committed to it, otherwise you get kicked out. People around the world consider this sport the best one, and like it has impacted many people in their lives as well, like it did to me, which is why it remains the most popular sport in the world. And I don't think that's gonna change. That's gonna change in a while though, and that's why I brought this soccer ball today. To explain what it means to me and why it's so important to me.